Hey there, friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I'm trying something a little different this year when it comes to our homeschooling. All of the main information is going to be found in the very first video of this series, which I'll link up here in case you've missed it. But the Cliff's Notes version is that I've been homeschooling my son his entire life. He's 9 years old and on the autism spectrum. He has nonverbal autism along with a few other medical diagnoses. My son also has a complete and absolute undying love for all things Disney, much like his mama. So this year I thought it would be fun to give our unit studies a little bit of a Disney twist. So every 2 weeks this year we're going to start a new unit study based on a Disney ride, movie, character, etc. We're going to be doing our academic work around that theme, but also at least one cooking activity and at least one art activity. So in these videos, I want to show you guys some of the things that we do to fit the theme, and I have a Pinterest board pertaining to each of the themes. And so along with every single one of these videos, there's going to be a link in the description box to that particular theme's Pinterest board. So make sure that you check those out because I am only showing you some of the things that we're getting into every week, but the board is going to have more activities and also activities for kids of different ages and different abilities. So with all that being said, let's get into our theme.
I gotta make sure all daddy's hard work means something.
We stan a woman that goes out and gets what she wants. Oh my goodness, this is so romantical. This is such a cute movie. We're gonna follow the numbers so you can make Tiana's dress. Look, you start here, number 1.
Go!
Yeah, and you go. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And look at her beautiful dress. Good job, Papa. Very pretty. So you may have heard, unless you're living under a rock, that they're going to take the Splash Mountain attraction both at Disneyland and Disney World, and they're going to re-theme it to Princess and the Frog. Now, I have thoughts about this, of course, because it is a very nostalgic ride, Splash Mountain, but I completely understand how super problematic the ride or the movie that it's based on is. So I totally get it. I understand. Now, theming is going to be a little more complicated for Disney World, I feel, because in Disneyland, they do have a New Orleans square, and it so happens that their Splash Mountain is right on the border of it. So they can just absorb that into New Orleans Square, and now it makes perfect sense. Ours in Disney World is in Frontierland, so it's all, you know, Wild West, animals, etc. And I'm not sure how a bayou fits into Frontierland necessarily, but I'm not an Imagineer. I'm sure they'll come up with something. I'm going to post a link to this video, which has more information about the ride changes in the description box of this video. So if you're curious about the plans thus far, you can check it out. Nice. This frog. Yep, that's a frog. Here, catch frogs. Like this. Whoa! You do it. You did it! Here, get him out, get him out! Wow, look how many you caught! Oh my goodness! Oh, we're putting the frogs back in? Okay. However you want to play, kiddo. Whoa! For our cooking activity this week, we're going to make jambalaya. I feel like jambalaya is a little more of a crowd pleaser than gumbo, texturally speaking anyways, and I chose this recipe specifically because it is naturally gluten and dairy free, which I believe most jambalaya is, but this one is also shellfish free, and that's because I am extremely allergic. So if you're not, obviously feel free to add shrimp or whatever else makes sense to you. But this is all the ingredients that we're going to be using today in our jambalaya. We're starting off with our large pot on medium heat. I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil, and then we're going to chop up our andouille sausage. This pack is 11 ounces. The original recipe calls for 12 ounces. Just about is fine. So we're just going to slice this up into little coins and fry it in our olive oil. Whoops, that one got away from me. We're just going to fry it for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to move on to our next step. So while our sausage is going, I'm going to chop up my boneless, skinless chicken thighs into slightly bigger than bite-sized pieces. The recipe just calls for 1 pound of chicken. So you can use white meat if you want, you can use skin on if you want. This is what I had on hand, so this is what I decided to use. The chicken has to cook in there with the sausage for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's cooked through. So in the meantime, I'm going to chop up my veggies for our mirepoix. I'm going to cut up a cup of celery, a cup of green bell pepper, and 2 cups of sweet onion. I didn't really measure. I kind of, eyeballed it, and my aim right now is just to get the veggies as tiny as possible. I usually do not have the patience for this, but I really tried my best. So we're going to chop all the veggies up. When the meats are done cooking, we'll remove them from the pot, and we're going to use that same fat, that same oil, to fry up the veggies. It doesn't say in the recipe to do this, but I figured it would be a lot easier for my kiddo to dump the veggies into the pot if they were all in a vessel as opposed to just laying on the flat, floppy cutting board. So I threw all the veggies into this little Tupperware so that he'd be able to just pick it all up and toss it in at once. So it's been just under 10 minutes. The chicken is cooked, so I'm going to remove all of the meats with a slotted spoon. And at this point, we're adding all of our veggies. We're also going to add in 1 more tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to add some garlic. It says 2 cloves crushed. You guys know I don't really measure garlic, so I just tossed in what looked good. And we're going to saute all of these veggies together for about 6 to 8 minutes. Now that our veggies are almost tender, I'm going to throw the meat back into the pot, our chicken and sausage, and it's time to spice it up. The recipe says to use dried basil. I only had fresh, so that's what I went with. It also calls for thyme, some cayenne pepper, and some salt. You can check the recipe in the description box. I'll post a link. I don't really measure my spices. I eyeball everything, so that's what I did this time too. At this point, you'll also be adding a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. That's about what I had left, so I just used the rest of the bottle. You're also going to need 6 ounces of tomato paste and a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. Just throw the whole can in. Not the whole can, you know what I mean. Leave the can out. Throw in what's in the can. Once you've given that a good stir and combined everything, we're going to add 2.5 cups of long grain white rice to the pot, along with 4.5 cups of chicken broth. You can use veggie broth if you'd like. You can use homemade if you like. I ended up using the Pacific brand because I know it's clean and it has good ingredients in it. So do whatever you'd like, but the point is to get everything in the pot. It's our very last step. We're gonna bring all of the contents up to a boil. As soon as it boils, reduce the heat to low, cover it with a lid, and let it simmer for 30 to 40 minutes until the rice has absorbed all of the liquid. Here's our nice big heaping bowl of jambalaya. Oh my goodness, this was so delicious. I just served it with some fresh parsley and it was a really big hit. The family loved it. All right, my friends, that's gonna do it for our Princess and the Frog theme. That jambalaya was so delicious. I am definitely gonna be making that again. And while there is a lot of chopping, which might be appropriate for older or more mature kiddos, my son really liked just how many things he got to dump into the pot. So with a lot of supervision and a lot of help, it's definitely a recipe that kiddos of all ages and abilities can help with. My son also really loved making his little frog prints out of construction paper. He's really into cutting and pasting lately, so that was kind of his jam. I had a feeling he was gonna enjoy that. And it came out so cute too. I actually hadn't seen the movie until I came up with this theme, so I'm glad I got to see that finally. It's such a cute movie. And of course, the sensory activity, I mean, what can I say? Any opportunity to get outside and play in water is always going to be a hit. This video is coming out on Mardi Gras, so happy Mardi Gras to you all. I hope you have a fantastic day today. Have a lot of fun. And if you decide to do any of these activities with your kiddos, I would love to hear how they go for you, so make sure you leave me a comment. As always, I update the Pinterest board that pertains to each theme every chance I get. Even after I finish with the theme, if something pops up on my feed that looks interesting and appropriate, I will always add it, so make sure you check back because the boards are constantly evolving. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you'd subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!